I won't be much longer. I just let the speaker sign the golden book of the Swiss Press Club, the Geneva Press Club. And again, I wish you a good press conference, and I give the floor to Mr. Munir, who will introduce the speakers, the other speakers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Director. I'm highly thankful to Geneva Press Club for giving us an opportunity to speak that what is going on over there back in Balochistan. Actually, the project CPEC is a project of a government, and as per the claims of the governments that this is a project of development, this will bring a change. It's going to be a game changer to the whole region. On the other side, China, when joining CPEC and signing those agreements, also claimed that the people, the local people, will benefit from it. With with respect to this, Baloch Voice Association today is organizing this press conference over here in the Geneva Press Club, bringing accounts from the people who are directly linked to the area, that what is the reality of those projects, what this CPEC is going to give the people. And as well, we have international experts, international journalists with us, human rights organization representatives with us. So they will give you a detailed and brief account what is the reality of these projects. I'm highly thankful to you all for your kind presence, coming over here, giving your time and listening to us. Baloch Voice Association is highly thankful to you for your great presence. So I will introduce the speakers. On my left side, a Baloch female with a classical Balochi dress. Her name is Professor Naela Quadri. She is a Baloch political leader. She is known as the Iron Lady of Balochistan. She has been a part of Baloch politics since her childhood. She has faced the prisons in her life. She, not only her, but her family members have been attacked, threatened, jailed by the hands of the Pakistani army. We have seen her pictures that she was walking at the streets of Quetta, the capital city of Balochistan, roaring to the Pakistani army females. She was putting her eyes to the eyes of the forces and shouting on them that if you want to kill us, come and kill us. We cannot stop our voice. So she is living in exile in Canada. I'm thankful to you for your great presence.
Thank you so much.
Professor Naela Quadri. Now on the left side to me, I have a young international journalist, respected Visar Druki. He belongs from Kosovo. He is a researcher, and he has researched different accounts of that region, that what the people are facing and why they are suffering over there, and what is the reality of the state's claims that they are giving to those people. Will this benefit to the people? So in this respect, he has a great research. So I'm thankful to you for your presence. Thank you. On my right side, I have another Baloch, respected, very senior politician, respected Waja Siddiq Azad Baloch. He has been in the Baloch politics from his childhood, and he has faced displacements from more than 40 years. He has been moving from one country to the other country because of his political struggle. And he is a Baloch linguist. He is a Baloch poet. He's very well known in the Baloch masses for his writings, for his poetry, and he is regarded as an icon of the Balochi language, being a linguist. So I'm thankful to you for your presence over here. He's nowadays he lives in exile in Sweden. On my right hand, I have another political leader from Pakistan, respected Sardar Shaukat Ali Kashmiri. He is the chairman of UKPNP. UKPNP is a political party in Pakistani occupied Kashmir that they represent those people, and it was him and his voice that presented the Kashmiri people the way that this pseudo war, which is jihad in Kashmir, this is not a real jihad by the people. It is just a pseudo war by a state, and he himself, for his ideologies, for his struggle, faced imprisonment. He has been a missing person as well over there by the hands of the state forces, and he and his political party is struggling to raise the genuine voice of the Kashmiri people to present it at international forums. From many years, he himself is living in exile in Switzerland from more than 12 years. So he has been a vocal voice at the European platforms for speaking about the Kashmiri peoples. From this project, CPEC, the land of Kashmir is going to be affected. So what are the concerns with respect to these projects? So he will speak on this. Thank you, sir, for your presence. On the other side, I have another international researcher and an NGO representative, respected Shun Fujiki. He is from Japan. He actually, came here and to view, analyze the issues, what are going on at different regions over there. So we met him here. We gave him a detailed account that what is the reality over there from last more than 4 years. So he was analyzing, monitoring the situation, what is the reality over there, and what the people are saying, what the state is saying in this respect. He has organized a conference as well in Japan Senate, and he also invited us to present our issue to the Japanese government officials. So I'm thankful to you for your presence over here. He lives in Japan, Tokyo, and so he's coming from there. On my rightmost, yeah, actually, the corner is a man. He's a very dangerous man. Every state, every state frightens from him, from his writings. Respected Basir Naveed. He's basically, he was a journalist. He was raising the issues which the people were suffering were there, and because of this, he lost his son. His young son at the age of close to 22, I think, 20. So he was, taken from his office, in front of his office, by the Pakistani state forces and goons, and he was killed. Since then, he's living in exile in Hong Kong. He was a researcher with Asian Human Rights Commission, and he's a man, his writings, particularly with respect to the urgent appeals, gives a hope to the people who become a victim of the state forces wherever throughout the globe. I have seen his writings, his pictures, that he was not only speaking for the Asian people, for the international community at large. So I'm highly thankful to you. In Pakistan, he's regarded as a godfather of human rights issues, and I've already earlier, our organization Baloch Voice has already raised these issues. We are highly, concerned about this, that he should be given a Nobel Prize for his efforts, for his works, whatever he has given. He has saved thousands of lives of people. So he's living in Hong Kong. Thank you, sir, for your great presence. So without wasting any time, I give the floor to respected Naela Quadri. So respected madam, the floor is with you. So please tell us that what are the impacts of CPEC over there.
Hi, can you listen to me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so thank you so much, Baloch Voice Association, and Waja Munir Mengal. He himself is a youth icon. He's an ideal for Baloch youth, and today he is the voice of Baloch people in United Nations and European Parliament, and we are very much proud of you. Thank you, Press Club Geneva, for giving us opportunity to be here and share our views with you and with the respected journalists. And I know online there is the press conference is live also, and there are many about 100 news agencies who are now, this time, they are looking at us and listening to us. And so thank you so much for providing this great opportunity. When we speak about CPAC, for Baloch, it's a project of Balochocide. This is the term comes in my mind, that the project is to kill Baloch, to erase Baloch, to evaporate Baloch from the earth. This is the project. People say that it's development. Development for who? It's not development for Baloch, number one. We are the sons and daughters of Balochistan. We are the sons and daughters of Gwadar. This project is not for our development, it's to kill us. Number two, if it was a development project for the world, for the humanity, we, the Baloch people, would have been sacrificed our lives and our coming generations for the humanity. But it's a death sentence for the humanity too. This project basically is meant to reach the warm waters of Balochistan, the Baloch Ocean, to have military presence of China, naval base for China. Is a naval base for China good for humanity? The way they have started it from Gwadar, and it is the crown of the so-called BRI. So the Belt and Road Initiative starts from Gwadar and ends at hell, I don't know where, everywhere. How the people who are the mastermind of the smart city of Gwadar, the mega project of Gwadar, then the CPAC, that is the corridor for exploitation, and then it reaches to the different parts of the world. The way it is initiated is power and control related, not development related. The power and control related not with the economic activities, but the military and intelligence activities. First, we look at the present Chinese government, how they treat with their own people. The whole China itself is a jail. They are dictators. They are dictating and they are abusing Chinese people. And then the day they came to Balochistan, the world knew they came with Gwadar mega project in 2002. But we, the Baloch, we are observing them the day Pakistan broke into two, the day the ideology of two-nation theory drawn into the Indian Ocean with the creation of Bangladesh, because Bengalis were the creators of Pakistan, and they said we were wrong. Anyhow, that was the time when Chinese first seen in Balochistan. They started the Chinese nuclear project and snatching of a gold mountain called Sendak at the same time. And for last so many years, they are taking gold, and they have finished the whole mountain of gold. And now they are behind the Rakodek, another gold mountain, in the same area where they have done their nuclearization. So Chinese are there in Pakistan. In Balochistan, they are from that early 70s. We are observing them, their activities. They created a no-go area, and they started working on their nuclear testing from that day. What Pakistan claims that it's their nuclear test. Pakistan is just a mask. So we know China from that day how much they care for human lives. The day there was nuclear test, I was on the roads of Shal, they call it Quetta, but it is Shal, with my 200 students. I was a professor at University of Balochistan, and that was end of my career as a professor, because I was opposing nuclearization of Balochistan as a responsible person. 6 years, there was no rain, there was drought. Hundreds and thousands of people had displaced. Our children less than 5 years of age, the whole generation of that area died. 90% of animals and wildlife died according to the Pakistan's own reports. This drought, this human trauma didn't end it after 6 years, because it gave us a series of unending cancers. The whole area is a hub for cancer. Cancer in throat, cancer in lungs, cancer in eyes, abnormal children. This is going on in front of the eyes of the very humane, the very democratic, the very developed so-called world. You all are observers of a genocide, Balochistan. And same China, I remember one of my uncle, I was writing his biography, and he said it was 1968. There was a military operation in Balochistan, and he was tortured by Pakistani army in Kuli camp. That is the notorious torture cell in Balochistan, Shal, Quetta, Balochistan, that was built by British to keep the Japanese war prisoners, but that ended with the Baloch war prisoners. Yeah, we are war prisoners. They have invaded a war on us on 27th March 1948. They occupied us. And they are abusing our resources, our land, our lives. So my uncle said that he was tortured for 16 continuous days, and then a Chinese doctor came. It was 1968. A Chinese doctor came in the torture cell, and he said that you guys don't know how to torture. You are going to kill him. These are the ways to torture a person and get information. So it's not nuclear adventures of China and Pakistan in Balochistan. It's not only the torture and killings and rape. So if these people come and say we are giving you development, we can understand what kind of development they are giving us. What kind of development Pakistan and China can give us. And it started with demolition of our homes. It came with military operation. It came with torture, rape, taking organs of our sons. And they said, go away, leave the area. They want Gwadar. They want to change it in Chinatown and Punjabi town. And it's not Gwadar. The way, if you look at their plan of the smart city, you can see that it is for millions of people. The Baloch, not only in Gwadar, we are just 83,000 people in Gwadar. Baloch will be erased from the whole Balochistan. Because if that much population comes in Balochistan, there will be no Baloch. So this Balococide, this ecocide, I'm talking about the Paris Agreement also, because they are bringing coal. They are used second-hand coal-fired machinery to produce electricity. So to destroy our atmosphere, our air. They have already nuclearized our air and our waters and our soil. And this 300 megawatt coal-fired power plant they are bringing in Gwadar and then in the other parts of CPAC. And according to a Pakistani report, that less than 1/3 of the announced projects of CPAC have been completed, totally about $19 billion. So they are talking about $100 billion, only $19 billion projects have been completed. And so Pakistan side, they also repeatedly missed the construction targets. And they have ran out of money and $6 billion bailout from IMF now. And this is country's 13th bailout from IMF since 1980. And 2 successive prime ministers of Pakistan have been jailed for corruption charges. So, and the whole plan of CPAC is a mystery. Nobody knows. There is a company, FHDI of China, that has planned the Smart Gwadar City project, but nobody knows what is inside. So this mystery always is related with Gwadar, with CPAC, and with BRI. So BRI is in Europe now, and we are sitting in Europe. The way they are dealing with us, they won't be lesser good with you people. So we should think about the people who are in power, who are creating these mega projects, how they feel for humanity, how they feel for environment, how they feel for this planet Earth, and how they feel for the future of coming generations on this world. So I thank you. There are lots and lots and lots of things I can talk about. I can talk about the experiences I have gone through in Gwadar. I have talked about the experiences my people are going through, the names and the lists of the 2,046 women, mostly young girls, kidnapped by Pakistan Army and disappeared in the name of CPAC because we are opposing it, so they can rape us. So by using rape as a tool of oppression, they can get CPAC if they think, but they cannot. I tell you, as a responsible Baloch, without consensus of Baloch people, nothing can happen on the soil on the waters of Balochistan. I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, respected Naela Quadri. Actually, I have just a presentation. I will just go through it. The picture we are seeing over here, so the red one, that is, the land of Balochistan, which shows a line that that part is occupied by Pakistan, and the ones they were just checked by the red one. So these are the historical land where the Baloch people were were occupying all these areas, and now there is the Iranian government is converting that from the Baloch region to the Gwadar and Persians and others. They are bringing. This is a document. This is a official document from the Viceroy's House, New Delhi, while the Britishers were in New Delhi. At that time, an agreement was signed. So this is a official communique in which Pakistan recognizes Balochistan as an independent sovereign state. So the government of Pakistan recognizes Kala. This is the number one, as an independent sovereign state in treaty relations with the British government, with the status different from that of India. And unfortunately, after 9 months, Pakistani forces occupied Balochistan by force. That's why we Baloch say that we are not a legal part of Pakistan. Now, this is the geolocation importance of Balochistan, why the China is coming in Balochistan, why they want to make such sort of projects over there, why they are, claiming that we will give development and invest billions of billions. The reality is that that region is so important, such as human geography, like they do use that region, that area for political, gains, economic gains, and that because of that geography, Balochistan holds a very strategic location. Because of time, these are some pictures that how development is being done over there. From these pictures, we can see a very good imagination that how they are developing the region, because they need the land, so they are ashing the houses, asking people to leave, otherwise we just ash your house and eliminate you, because we need this land and resources. This is just a picture that it shows Gwadar, where Gwadar is holds that location. So with respect to this, there are different lines. So because of time, I cannot give you a detailed account, detailed briefing. This picture shows another imaginary view that how Gwadar looks. So this narrow channel is the Straits of Hormuz. That is the area from which a lot of transportation is being done. That holds a very strategic position. With respect to this Strait of Hormuz, there is something. This is the source is World Data Atlas. This is not something from my organization, Baloch Association, not from any Baloch organization. This is that World Atlas says every year some 60% of the world is transported through the Strait of Hormuz. So this is a report of 2001. Strait of Hormuz is located between Gulf of Oman and Persian Gulf in terms of trade and military. It is one of the most important checkpoints on earth because it is the only sea passage from Persian Gulf in Indian Ocean. Geostrategic location makes it more important as Iran is one of the north coast and UAE and Oman is on its south coast. So as I earlier showed you this picture, the Gwadar. So this is the channel and this is its importance. So this is another view of Gwadar, how it, we say it natural deep sea. So this is the satellite image of it, that how it's. This is another view. So it bridges South Asia, Southwest Asia, Iran and Afghanistan. So both of them are, energy abundant, while India and China are lacking of it. China finds a way to Indian Ocean and Arabian Sea through Karakoram. That's the route that's called the old Silk Route. Now this is the new Silk Route that China is going to announce to make. China, with its fastest economic growth rate of 9%, is developing the southern process. So on the route, basically, the Chinese, that region is approximately 4,005 kilometers away from port in the current situation. Because of this Gwadar, the route will cut into 2,005 kilometers. So this will be a great benefit to the Chinese in reality. That's why China is saying that we are going to give. These are the major projects, energy projects in infrastructure. This is what they have claimed. This is a string of pearls. The China also says that this novel new silk routes are some sort of string of pearls. We are connecting the world from different regions. Basically, the string of pearls is a military design, is a military strategic design, and this has been claimed by Chinese top officials, army officials, naval officials, that China needs Gwadar at any cost for its naval strategic purpose. What China will get after this, even if China uses 50% of Chinese this CPEC routes, whatever it has claimed for its only energy supplies, then China will sell $6 million every day, approximately more than $2 billion per year, if uses 50% and only for energy, only China. So this is what China get, but what will the people will get? That is another question. Baloch reservations, they have reservations. They say that our land is occupied. First is a legal issue. Any country which where a land is disputed, no country has a legal mandate to make such mega projects on that land. This is a recognized international law. This is recognized by the United Nations, and even as per the UN conventions, as per agenda item 10, that they say that if there is a dispute between the local peoples and the state, without resolving, consulting the local reservations, that country cannot make such sort of big economic plans on that land, and all other countries which are member states of that country are barred from putting money in those projects, are barred from even giving assistance, technological assistance for those projects. So overall, as per these agreements, China will get 91% of the income for 40 years from this Gwadar. This is stated by minister in Pakistan. So as the Senator Asil Baloch, these are his own words, and this is the agreement that Pakistan will get 9% and the local provincial government will get only 1%. Nuclear test as respect to Naela Quadri, she stated, so I will skip this. These are some pictures that Chinese and Pakistani premier back, they signed this agreement. These are the other projects which respect to Naela said that China is already digging our resources, looting our resources, Record Dig project, Sendak project, what the Baloch have got from those projects which China has dig out millions of dollars of gold from Sendak. And the other project they are going to give it is Record Dig. This is some list of natural resources, so because of shortage of time, I skip it. This is monetary value of projects in Balochistan from CPEC for, as per the claims of the Pakistani government, Chinese government, as per the details of this project, that approximately $60 billion will be invested in this project. And unfortunately, as per the documents, only $760 million will be used in Balochistan, and more than 53% of that will be only on the port, Gwadar port. So this is a detailed chart. All these information is available on this presentation will be available on the website of the Baloch Voice Association. So we will, try to disseminate it as much as possible. Then there's the Silk Route. These are the proposed Silk Routes that from Gwadar. Earlier, the Pakistan said that we will link it through the southern side, from which the other regions of Balochistan, particularly those are deprived, and the regions of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, they will get benefit. But in the reality, they have skipped that. They are passing it from central part, from which the people of Punjab, somehow they will get benefit. Otherwise, it the Chinese will get benefit because they will put their all stock back to Pakistan through that route. So this is basically, designed for Chinese and the Punjabis. Sorry. The CPEC, these are the different details of some projects. These are some details of the projects which have not been completed, and basically they have not been completed because of the disputes, because of the differences of opinion of the people that's not aligned with the opinion of the states, the resistance which they are facing, and there we have seen some sort of resistance in Balochistan. There has been some attacks by the groups on the Chinese as well. On the other side, we see that there's an everyday military operation on the Baloch people. So the claims of the Pakistani are not as true. The claims of the Chinese are not as true as this stated. This is the social life from this economic development, what the people are getting over there. So I think that these bamboos are made of gold, so the people, they are getting, a high quality of life, much better than Switzerland. Unfortunately, for Gwadar, the people do not have water, and government of Pakistan asked Suez and UAE, please donate a project of $14 million. We want to dig out a well and give water to the Baloch people, because from this $60 billion, there's nothing that can give, water to the Baloch people or the local residents of the Gwadar. So this is about what the people are getting. As she stated that the land is so resourceful, but in reality, what the people are getting. The child mortality rate under 5 is, 4.1. These are the highest ones, because I do not have time to go in detail, but 189 per 1,000 children are getting died under the age of 5. This sort of mortality rate is high, even higher than Congo, higher than all African countries. Then the under 5 female is 107 per 1,000. Above 5, the female mortality rate is 82 per 1,000. These are some worst sort of. And education is 32%, 32.9%, and primary completion rate is 56%. I'm skipping, then you can get the details, but 1.8 million children still out of schools in Balochistan. Can you imagine that? 1.8 million, that is approximately 64% of the children in Balochistan are out of school. So this is a picture which is in the mind of every Baloch who is residing over there, that this is going to happen to us. Some outer force is coming and looting our resources and going to eat us. At the end, with the hope, we are gathered over here with the hope that world will listen to us some way, somehow, someday, and our people will get a breath of liberty. And with this hope, there is a naturally built stone in Balochistan. There's a mountain. We call it the people of Balochistan, the Princes of Hope. So our main motto is to give liberty to the people who are, deprived of it. I'm thankful to you for your attention. Now I give the floor to respected Basir Naveed. He's a human rights activist, journalist, as I earlier. So, sir, you will come here or there, as you wish.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Munir Mengal sahab. We all are from different parts of Pakistan, but we feel that how dangerous is this CPEC.
We are not from
But we born over there. Okay, it is so whatever the reason. But we 3 persons are the direct victim, or you can say the victim of this CPEC. when Munir Mengal arranged a conference on Balochistan and CPEC in Thailand. So we three were deported, Munir Mengal, Bilal Baloch and me. First Munir was arrested and handcuffed, and then Bilal was sent back to Paris, and I was arrested, detained over there for overnight. I was first kept in police station and then in the jail. So all those, and they wanted me to send back to the Pakistan, but suddenly a human rights chairperson in Thailand, she helped me, and then I was back to Hong Kong. So we were the victims, we can say that we had this. And about this, our friends Shaukat Saab and Nasir Aziz Saab, they felt in the morning, early morning, that there are some dangers. So they said that we are going and there is some danger that maybe police will arrest us. So these people who first felt that thing and I was sent back. Okay, sir. CPEC is a project which has never been consulted by the people of Pakistan. It was forced on them, and that even the assemblies or the elected forums were not consulted. And it was meant that China and Pakistan military has made some understanding how to start. And those governments which were used for this, they were even not consulted for them. Though some political leaders take the credit that in their era they have talked with the Chinese leadership and other. And even that these leaders are also not knowing the details of the project. So this was actually a project which is imposed on the people of Pakistan. And the Baloch people are the most, maybe the most sufferer, or must be the most sufferer of this project. The second thing is that where it ends at the Gwadar, what Munir has talked here or presented slides, the Gwadar income, this is a latest one, the Gwadar income, 90% of the income will go to the China. 91% will go to the China and 9% will go to the Pakistan. And because, why to the Pakistan? Because to make security arrangements for the Chinese. So you can imagine that 9% is also not enough for the security of Chinese engineers and employees and their colonies, all those things. So again, as usual, the budget, our civilian budget or annual budget will be slashed. As usual, this is a practice, common practice in Pakistan. At the end, the civilian budget is slashed. And which subject, which parts of that budget is slashed are the health and the education. They give only 3 to 4% for the health and the this education. So almost 6 point something or 7% of the budget goes. Whereas the 34% goes to the military. And then other benefits and perks and retirement pension and other things are also taken from the civilian budget. And we have to pay back the loans what we have taken from other IMF or World Bank or Asian Development Bank. So nothing is left. Only 8% or 9% of the total budget is left for the development of Pakistan. Out of that, then you will feel that how much will be spent on this Dracula project. We can say that this is a Dracula project. So this is a dangerous thing which how people of Pakistan will face. And this project, as I have said, that this is for the military. Military wants to impose it, and so a military will get more benefits. And also, in this project, locals are not allowed or not employed generally. only Chinese will work and military will support, will help them. So locals here in Balochistan, in Sindh and Punjab will not be benefited from this project. Maybe they will be displaced. The danger of the project is that the displacement of the people. And all through that line from north to the deep south, one can see that there may be displacement. That displacement of the people from their local places, which are centuries old, where they are inhabited, they will be displaced. It means that they have to be displaced from their culture, from their historical history and other things. So this will actually displace people from their historical places. So this is a dangerous thing. And in Sindh, nowadays what we are observing is that displacement through the judiciary. Now a judge who is a madman, he allows that, okay, displace this place within 3 days. Now people are not being informed where to go, where to reside. They have made very concrete houses, well concrete houses with good furniture, with 200 square yard, 100 square yard, 2 story, 3 stories. One day bulldozers are coming and just destroying them. So till now, during this year, 100,000 persons have been displaced in Karachi. Why? To facilitate the CPEC, they say that there should be a circular railway, and circular railway is a, what we say, dead kind of thing where you put the money and nothing will come. So he says, okay, within 1 week develop the circular railway. Now anybody can think that how is railway can be developed within 1 week. So you can imagine how mad people are sitting in the Pakistan and running the affairs of the. So this is a displacement which will affect. The other one is that this is the actually freedom of expression has been directly affected or has been squeezed from the Pakistan because of the CPEC. As CPEC is coming or implementing, it is going on. So the free media houses and both electric and print media houses are forced not to publish or air the thing about the CPEC. And PEMRA, there is a authority, Pakistan Electronic Media Regular Authority, which checks the electronic media, that has actually monitoring every news of the Pakistan. Somebody sits on for each and every media house who checks, and it is the standing order from the PEMRA to the editors of print and electronic media. If any news regarding the China, regarding the this CPEC or related with these things comes, then it should not be published, or at least the PEMRA should check that one. So many journalists are actually terminated or without any job. So PEMRA is doing this, and social media is being actually what you say monitored, very closely monitored social media. Nothing to do with the government. So now they are going to close the Facebook, the WhatsApp and other things, and putting some pressures. If anyone making cartoons, so those will be punished. And so many bloggers have also been punished or tortured or disappeared, and now they are sitting outside the country. So, so this is the situation of this. And after Balochistan, the only beneficiary of this CPEC would be the Punjab, which is in the north. It has nothing to do. It actually stops the Punjab province, it stops the water to the other provinces and taking resources from the other provinces like Balochistan and Sindh province. Sindh will be highly affected, and this, as I have said you, that now that port of Sindh, the Karachi port, and other which are actually earning more than I think 70% of the revenues of the Pakistan, it will be directly affected, and whole amount will go to the China. So this is the project, and she says that I have little time. So okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, respected Basir Naveed Saab. Now I give the floor to respected Visar Durki. As I earlier introduced him, he is a journalist from Kosovo. So please, the floor is yours, here or there, as you wish.
I will try it from here. So hello everybody. I am a journalist from Kosovo, and I was going to speak for more data, but I think that they just already presented lots of data about this project. First of all, you might ask why a journalist from Kosovo got interested in Balochistan. I first met Baloch people in Germany in 2014, and then by trying to understand their issue, I saw it so much similarities to the Kosovo case. They mentioned 1.8 million people children who are out of the school, and Kosovo is 1.8 million people. So can you imagine that how you don't pay attention to a country which looks like a whole state is left out of the school. I paid attention a lot to the CPAC project because I'm always paying attention to these multinational projects. I am doing research recently about the Turk Stream, which is a project between Russia and Turkey, which I think if it is going as it is prepared, is going to put the Europe on its knees by raising the price of gas. And also I'm paying a lot of attention to East Med project with another project which is regarding to the distribution of gas. But going to the Balochistan story, why it's so similar to Kosovo? I am just 33 years old, and I have lived the time when I lived under the occupation of Serbs, which was a regime, very brutal regime led by Slobodan Milosevic. And at that time, I have understand one thing: why, when you are living under occupation of one other country, in fact, you are not living. You are just improvising life, and you are just trying to survive. Yeah. So I lived that life. I faced 2 years of very brutal war. I have seen people dying in front of me, and so even my teacher was beheaded, and then we found later its body. And yeah, I even remember that scene, even it has happened today. So I paid attention to the problem of Balochistan because when we were fighting against Serbs for our freedom, lots of people paid attention to us, and that's made us possible to make a state. So we are just 1.8 million people, and we managed to have a state. The strategy we used, I would suggest the Baloch people to use the same, and it's simple. First of all, you be unified, you get a voice. It doesn't mean to be just one person, as we were lucky to have just one person, Mr. Lugova, but it can be a body. And then we created the funds to finance our struggle, which was 3% fund call everybody from Kosovo Albanians who worked in the Western country had to pay 3% of his salary to our fund, and that fund was used for everything: organizing protests, convincing foreign media to write about us, lobbying about us, and so on and so on. The other similarities is like Kosovo, after has been created and with the help of US mostly and the NATO, it is now a key player of the stability of the Balkan. Balkan until 1999, when Kosovo was made free by bombing the Serbia and so, Balkan was so unstable region. Kosovo now is the key of stabilizing the region. The other reason why the U.S. helped us to create Kosovo state is to stop the Russian influence. So by creating the Kosovo, you put the control on Serbia, and then by stopping the Russian influence, they use other strategy. So I have checked for a long time the strategic place of Balochistan. The other similarities to Kosovo is that Balochistan is in the middle of Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Iran. So if the Western countries want to have a stable region, that region, which is still too much unstable, they have to help the Balochistan as they helped Kosovo to become an independent country. By making Balochistan an independent country, the benefits will be these. First of all, you stop China from benefiting brutally from the gold and the other incomes of Balochistan and the other national resources of Balochistan. So you stop a competitor of economy of the Western countries. Secondly, you stop the future terrorism, which is very important. Iran is very well known for being the most financing state of the terrorism. It's accepted all over the world, and especially now the U.S. administration accepts this and stresses it. By putting the Balochistan in the middle as an independent state, you can control Iran's foundation to the terrorist groups, and as well its project of manufacturing the atomic bombs or the project for nuclear weapons. By creating the Balochistan state, you also put a strong control on Pakistan. Pakistan is very well known now with the help of Saudi money to become, as we know, because I used to write a lot on the terrorist issues, we know in this area Pakistan to be as a university of terrorism. So Pakistan, especially in Balochistan, they have misused the money from US and the money from the Saudi Arabia to build madrasas, which are facilitating and educating people to be future mujahideens. And by creating the independent Balochistan, you stop these projects, and more than that, you keep a control to the Pakistan as it remains. Hopefully it remains very small. So you put control on that and its program of nuclear weapons and nuclear capacities as well. And the third profit from that is also because now the Afghanistan with this deal from the latest deal with Taliban, so it's gonna be still a big problem with rising mujahideens movement, creating new mujahideens. So by having an independent Balochistan, you can put control also in the flow of the future mujahideens. So I'm not going to take much of your time. I'm just going to say that Balochistan state, it should be in the future, and that's for the people who will get to know this issue, I would definitely say that it should have been yesterday as an independent state. But it's not too late to make it in the future. Baloch people are gonna pay attention to these two things. Make a voice for you, a body who represents you, create a fund to have to finance your struggle, and try to create so much friends in the Western democracies. independent Balochistan is profit for Western democracies.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, respected Visar Durki. Actually, you know, the topic of this conference was a little bit different. So I'm thankful to you for your great suggestions. Really, the people, you know, need these suggestions. I'm thankful, but the topic was CPEC. So
Yeah, I saw the data you already gave, so
So,
I'm not going to repeat.
okay, thankful to you for your presentation and for your great suggestions. Really, these inputs and these suggestions are highly important for the people who are there. Now I give the floor to respected Wajah Siddiq Azad. Sir, the floor is yours. To speak from here.
Mr. Munir Mengal, respected participants, ladies and gentlemen, as we are talking today about China, so I recall a fable which has some inner meaning with the subject today which we are discussing. A little Chinese boy asked his father, "How much does it cost to get married, Dad?" And his father told him, "I don't know, I'm still paying." So, Balochistan has been the central point of dispute for the past. Imperial powers in the age of colonization for its strategic location, and in recent past, it has been strategic for its economic resources. Every international power has been, and even today is, dependent on the above-mentioned two factors for increasing their power in Balochistan and this region. China is also looking for, every international power has been, and every today is dependent on this, and China also looking for such opportunities in the region to strengthen its economic and political influence. Unlike its major rival, USA, it is not interfering in the politics to a large extent, but it is doing a lot to dominate the world in economic domain and has been successful so far. Beijing aims to create a new kind of globalization to refashion the global economy, drawing companies more tightly into China's orbit. China desires to materialize its One Belt, One Road dream in South Asia, and Pakistan was one of the first countries where China began its One Belt, One Road project under the framework of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, which would connect China to Gwadar port in Balochistan. China is trying to shift its power from south to west in Arabian Sea and the Persian Gulf, for which she is making economic and strategic effort. The greatest option to fulfill its agenda is none than the Gwadar ports. So it's trying its best to occupy it as soon as possible, whatever it costs for him. China spends $18 billion annually to import oil from Middle East, and its ships navigate 9,912 miles via Strait of Malacca, but the Kashgar-Gwadar route will reduce the total time to 1/3. If China passes half of its export through CPEC, it will have profit of $6 million daily. $6 million daily. Who has benefited the most from CPEC? Pakistan, Balochistan, or China? In November 2017, the Upper House of Pakistan Parliament was informed by the Federal Minister for Ports and Shipping, Mir Hasil Bizanjo, that 91% of the revenue to be generated from the Gwadar port as part of CPEC would go to China. 91% would go to China. While the Gwadar Port Authority would be left with 9% share in the income for the next 40 years. This was disclosed after Senator expressed concern over the secrecy surrounding the CPEC long-term agreement. Balochistan will not get a single penny from the revenue because ports are federal subjects. They are not included to Balochistan. The revenue of the ports will go to Islamabad. So Balochistan will get nothing. Most of the other CPEC projects are power generation and are expected to generate almost 10,000 megawatt of electricity. But again, Balochistan has not benefited from this. Gwadar Port is epicenter of the whole CPEC project. Yet the residents of city have hard time getting drinking water on daily basis. After the biggest investment of China, promises were made to Pakistan and especially Balochistan that the stream of milk and honey will flow in their land. But the truth is that China will not benefit Balochistan by its investment. It will use the land for strengthening its regional strategic dominance, minimize its trade cost, and to exploit its natural resources. The pseudo-communist regime is following the path of economic imperialism, foreshortening its trade route with the intention of high swift profit. It is ambitious to have commanding influence on the region and to conquer the world economically. The aim of the new capitalist is exploitation and plundering the wealth in the name of development. It is no more socialist-oriented economy. Balochistan is one of the vulnerable, rich and nearest country to feed the economic expansionism of China with its rich mineral resources, strategic location in the part of pathway to help China to conquer the market of West. The access to the international water through Gwadar port could bolster China to extend its hegemony to the nations by ruling over the sea lands, and this can hardly be expected from the world to take no notice. There are various reasons why Baloch are opposed to CPEC. It would convert them into minorities in their own land with an influx of outsiders as a result of the project, and their identity are being threatened. The CPEC routes will not only provide means for carrying of goods and other materials, but it also launches a cultural invasion, transferring social customs, languages, and belief among the people of Balochistan. It is expected that around 1 million people will arrive and settle in Balochistan in the next few years. They may be justified in fearing this, for according to the report by the Federation of Pakistan Chamber of Commerce, the number of Chinese citizens in the region will be greater than the Baloch by 2048. Yeah. It is a known fact that Pakistan government is trying to change the demographic structure in Balochistan, and it's making use of CPEC as an opportunity to this end. People of Balochistan think that Balochistan natural resources belong to them rather than Pakistan, and that the Pakistan central government is using Baloch resources as though owned by them and indeed plundering them. Islamabad is reaping all benefits, depriving the local Baloch from their legitimate share. Recently, Mr. Imran Niazi, the Prime Minister of Pakistan, said that Pakistan's foreign debts will be paid through the sale of Rekudik gold resources of Balochistan. Pakistan has opened up the resources of Balochistan for the use of China, and CPEC will exploit Balochistan, and they will lose all rights over their natural resources. Even some experts argue that not only Balochistan but also other regions through which CPEC passes will not benefit from it, as it is designed to bring profit just for China. The Baloch further claimed that they were not consulted about the CPEC. They have been completely excluded from the decision-making process regarding CPEC. However, this complaint that decision-making process are not transparent and the Pakistan citizens have been excluded from the process is heard throughout the Pakistan, and it is not specific to Balochistan. Baloch also considered CPEC as a Chinese military project and are of view that China has contributed to the militarization of Balochistan. Latest report said that China is trying to set up a military base near Gwadar, create disturbances in the region. And according to the News International of Pakistan, English Daily, Pakistan deployed a total of 17,177 security personnel of Chinese national. In the year since Gwadar has become something of military cantonment, locals traveling around Gwadar faces routine harassment and security checkpoints. As a result of security measures taken by CPEC, Pakistan's military representation in Balochistan has increased, and the region has become a military cantonment. Baloch are born a fighter, and any assault on their freedom and encroachment into their area of influence would be resisted hard. The day Balochistan rise in mass revolt, an event of Pakistan giving in too much to Beijing, there would be hell to pay to China. At the Gwadar project, it is also for the Chinese military purposes. This would be harmful for the international powers, where 60% of world oil flow. The world has has to take rapid action in curbing China's influence in Balochistan in particular and in the Pakistan in general. And we appeal to international community to help Balochistan defend itself from the Chinese colonization. Thank you very much.
Thank you, respected Siddiq Azad Baloch. Now I give the floor to respected Shun Fujiki. As I have said, he's from Japan, so please, the floor is yours. Try to be as short as possible.
Thank you very much. Is it on?
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mengal. When he approached me to talk about this conference, I was thinking why I have to talk, because I'm, the farthest one who are not directly affected by China in this CPEC or One Belt, One Road initiative. However, I thought that I have to, we have been having a lot of conflict with Chinese government in the history. And we have a chain of islands called Senkaku Island, where the Chinese, it's not the naval ship, but the patrol ship is coming every day, violating the territorial water, also airspace. And this is what they do. This is a kind of, the first step. And in case of Balochistan, it's going to be a fourth grade or fifth grade, right? It's like a really dangerous area. And then I was thinking, what I have to talk about China is their ideology, which is rooted from Sinocentrism, and that's they are trying to control whole world by Han Chinese. This is one of the reasons. And this CPEC is coming from Gwadar. However, the other side is Xinjiang, which is also suppressed by the Chinese government. Okay, so they are not taking them, considering them as a human. On the other hand, it's also same. They are not thinking the Baloch people as their human. Maybe second class or third class person. This is the reason why they choose this area at the first thing. Another thing is that normally when China export the products, they goes to the Malacca Strait. And it's really a detour for China to export to the Europe or to the Africa. However, this 2,000 kilometer, was that?
2005.
5 kilometer, okay. This, the load, pipelines and load and optical fibers, that is benefit only China, as person here are talking. And, before going to the details, I came from Japan, and we're having some trouble of COVID-19 virus. But so far I don't have any fever, I don't have any sneezing, so you can stay here without any trouble. Okay. So speaking of which, the number of the infection in Japan is 293 as of today, and while China is more than 80,000, South Korea over 5,300, Italy 2,500, Ireland 2,300. I believe it is really coincident that Italy is the first European country and only country signed agreement for China of One Belt, One Road initiative, if I remember correctly, right? Yes. Yeah. So, United States announced to prohibit travel to Italy, Iran, and South Korea. And China is very much strongly denying that coronavirus was not leaked from Chinese Wuhan virus laboratories, which was created as a biological weapons. They are denying the fact, denying it. When China denies very strongly and with a lot of forces, that in the history, always China wants to hide something by spending a lot of effort and a lot of budget to pursue it. And then they are currently doing it even in the United Nations. If you go to the United Nations, yesterday I went there and I found they are displaying many photographs which is showing Xinjiang Autonomous Region. and where they are suppressing the people there. And it is said, it is reported that over 1 million or millions of people are put in the concentration camp, which they call it re-education camp or something.
They are Muslim.
I'm sorry?
They are Muslim.
Muslim.
Yeah, Muslim, yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Voilà. So this is a big problem because how will the Chinese population
Please,
cope with
questions at the end. So
Okay, and they're trying to destroy the value of their Uyghurs, this Uyghurs tradition and also languages. And also, I saw the last time when I was here, also they are displaying a panel of the photographs, tons of photographs, and distributing kind of handouts, booklets to the person who comes to visit their booth. And at this time, they're adding 3 more things, 2 DVDs, which is showing how the Uyghurs are living happily and how they're developing the countries and the areas. And we all know that Uyghurs are detained and put in the concentration camp. And those Uyghurs are forcibly separated from their family, wife, husband, and children. And they put into their, like a jail. And the children are also kept orphanage, just like hostage to their parents. So parents whose children have been taken away, Chinese authorities are forced to study whatever Chinese government teaches repeatedly as their sutra, which is nothing different from brainwashing the people. And recently, one of my Uyghur friends came to me reporting that next to their concentration camp, Chinese authority built a hospital. And next to the hospital, they built a cemetery to cremate the person, dead body. As I said, Italy is the first European nation signed in Belt and Road Initiative agreement with China. This will be benefit China, but not democratic Western countries, as these gentlemen said. And CPEC is the core part of the Chinese ambition to control the whole world by hand Chinese, which we led from their Sinocentrism that has planted in their mind from ancient times. One Belt and One Road initiative is literally embodies the Sinocentrism, which is rooted in their mind. And in order to counter China's expansionism, we need to pay attention to the human rights. That is a weak point of the China. And everyone knows the Chinese threaten their own people. Their country, the country who engage with them would be threatened, treated better than Chinese people. I don't think anybody who is outside of China will not be treated better than Chinese people. And the starting point of CPEC is Xinjiang, in better known as East Turkestan, and that is Muslim the area. And where the Uyghurs are detained in the concentration camp, and the Gwadar port through controversial both Pakistan and Indian side of Kashmir. It's going through Kashmir, right? Yeah. So it is including what do you call that? Karakoram Highway. That is the world's highest altitude over 4,000 meters, and they are making load and rail load pipelines for natural gas, optical fiber, and so on. Within this plan, this is solely benefit China to step into the Indian Ocean, as everybody said here, and that is a benefit to international trade for only China. And currently, the most of the exportation is going through the Malacca Strait, and China is worried about the blockage by the Western countries in that region. So they have been worried about that, and now they found the solution. And therefore, there is an alternative for this is the most efficient way for China. Only China is benefiting from it. And I would like to point out 2 problems in this picture. One, China doesn't care about the human rights of who are living in the region, as they don't care about their own people, how they can treat others better than their own people. Definitely, they will not treat you or the nations who participate in their project are the same. When they economically invade some region, they force their culture, value, and language, which destroy the culture value of the place, the region. And number 2, China has no intention to spare any profit they would get from the region to the people in the region, but they just spend money for the infrastructure, for their further income. And recently, due to many deaths of Chinese people affected by COVID-19 in Wuhan, the city is hiring workers at a very high salary who need to transport the dead body from the hospital to cremate them, and also the workers to cremate the dead body. And there is for the workers for transportation get the $90, approximately $90 per hour, which is really expensive for Chinese people. And also to cremate the dead body, it's like a $600 for every 4 hours. And there is a condition for the workers. And the recruitment says that any gender from 16 to 50 years old, this is one thing. And secondly, physically strong enough. And third one is the person who don't fear ghost. I spoke with a gentleman living in Japan who is also Uyghur about this recruitment. He said to me, do you know, because the so-called dead body are inserted into the plastic bag with the zipper on the top and transported to the cemetery. However, the reason of the particular condition, which is person don't fear the ghost, is because many of those so-called dead bodies are not dead completely. But because Chinese government is fear the virus, they transport and cremate the body alive. We need to speak out the world society not to engage in this CPEC as well as One Belt, One Road initiative until China changes their mind and protect the human rights. That's what I think. And one more thing, Japanese government is stupid enough to invite the Xi Jinping as a state guest in April. And that will show to the world that we admit what the China has been doing. So we are strongly opposing. And thanks God that this COVID-19 made a delay or postponed this visit to Japan until September or October. But anyway, we're strongly opposing to that. And sadly, there are politicians or bureaucrats who are bribed by China, even within the Japanese government. So we are now trying to find out who is doing it, who is manipulating the situation. So we have to stick together, and we are always behind of the Baloch people and other minority people. And I really hope that one day we can have a liberty in whole world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, respected Shun, for your great views. And I hope that the Baloch and the other victims who are a victim of Chinese, I think they in the future will not need a visa from China to go to Japan, because this has been happened. So now I give the floor to respected Sardar Shaukat Ali Kashmiri, the chairman of UK PNP.
Respected participant, ladies and gentlemen, and learned colleagues, I think you are all tired listening long lectures, and there are some technical know-how to the CPEC. But I think regarding the CPEC, Mohtarama Professor Naela Quadri and Professor Wajid Sadiq Azad Baloch and Munir Mengal is briefed you the technicalities and the implications of these projects. And our learned friend Basir Naveed, he highlighted also its implications politically as well cultural. And Mr. Shun, his perspective and overview is more larger than I think the CPEC.
He talked about the Chinese designs and its how to use the areas. But I have little bit complaint with all my friends. One hand, I am the most victim of this project, but nobody mentioned that areas.
I mentioned it.
You mentioned, but I think you are not well prepared for that area.
That is a disputed area.
Disputed area.
State of Jammu Kashmir, the area, this project is start from that area which is known as Galgate. And Galgate is part and parcel of the former princely state. And that state is still in the record of United Nations and Security Council resolution is a disputed. And United Nations also declared that Pakistan has no local stand-by on that area. So it is the illegally annexed and occupied by Pakistan. Now, with the collaboration of China and Pakistan, they use that disputed territory, and no doubt we are very weak nations. We are unable to combat a big power like China. So we cannot stop them until and unless the world community did not support us. We need their support to put pressure on China and Pakistan until and unless the people of that areas.
Sardarji, Jammu and Kashmir does not exist anymore. There's the state of Ladakh and the Union Territory.
No, but I think it is debatable. But Gilgit-Baltistan and the area which is occupied by Pakistan, I belongs to that area, and we are the most victims. What happened in the other areas, that is the people who lived under Indian administrations, they will deal that. That is not at this moment my problems. And the today press conference issue is not actually to discuss about the mutual disputed. It is we are discussing about the impact of the CPEC on those areas which actually affect these projects. Everybody knows that China is very aggressive regarding its commercial interest, and this project is a very much commercial project. And the region is already suffering due to the environmental issues. Our glacier is melting, our weather has been changed, but this project is more affect the environment, because the Gilgit-Baltistan, that area which is Siachen glaciers, they also, because it is the one road, one belt, one road is used for commercial purposes, and the road and the heavy traffic will run on that roads, and it affects our environment firstly. Secondly, the Chinese global designs, as already Mr. Shon Fujiki is explained, their design is expeditionist designs. They also install the proxies in the different areas. And Pakistan is also playing a proxy of China. And that's why the democracy is not taking roots in Pakistan. And when any civilian governments who discuss the role of China and regarding their own interests, that leadership will no more as in power in Pakistan. That's why it is the collaborations of Pakistani army and the Chinese. And China has no any credentials for the democracy, for the human rights. So we, the peoples who are affected, the second area is the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Again, it is a disputed area because Pashtun peoples is not satisfied with the Pakistani current state policies. They are also struggling for their own democratic and national rights. And the third one, more victim, is the Baloch. Because ultimately, the Baloch who provide China to reach the international market. So it is a good sign for every oppressed nation that it is the only Baloch who is resisting. Rest we are not resisting because we are unable politically, economically. We have no constitutional rights. Although we are considered to be the disputed territory and international community is very much focused on that area, but they did not actually stop the China. They did not even stop the Pakistan for the oppression and suppressions. So this project is not in favor or benefit for the regions. China is also have the design and policies to install another proxy in Afghanistan so that China can easily access the Central Asian state. So I think I will not go into details because time is running. So we should understand the Chinese design. We are not against any developmental projects. But this is not the developmental projects. It is the commercial projects in the interest of China. Yeah. So we should understand the developmental projects and the commercial projects which is only suited for the ruling class of the China. Even it is not benefit for the Chinese peoples, the Ugaris. So I think we should ask world community to take notice on these all projects which actually deteriorate over environmental degradations and also the peoples who lived in Balochistan or in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa.
That this is the project which has Munir. This is the project which was not have any C1 plan. C1 means that environment impact. For every project in Pakistan or in this country, there is this in a whole of the world. For every project, the environment assessment is very much necessary, and this project has not taken the environment impact. So you can imagine how this will affect the environment, and particularly his area will be affected by environment.
Not only over area, but Afghanistan, India, and all. Because already we are suffering due to the deteriorating situation of the environment, whether it is India or Pakistan.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So thank you very much because they give me a chance in the last. So I am also the victim of these. They always give me the chance.
You are not the last, still many have to come. So thank you, sir, for your presentation. We are highly thankful to you. So now I request respected Francisca Nerino, please. She is a journalist from Italia. So please, the floor is yours without wasting time.
Okay, I will start from where we finish. CPAC, according to me, is a kind we should take it as a test, as a case study of what the wider project, which concerns also we Europeans, could be and will be. the Belt and Road Initiative. So CPEC, as we said, it goes from a disputed area through disputed areas to a disputed area, starting, and it carries with it human rights violations, exploitation of land and workers, abuses of any kind, but it carries also troops, military troops. In Balochistan, only 15,000 Chinese troops have been deployed. 15,000 occupying Gwadar port. They say in order to protect the interest of the Chinese workers. But on Gwadar, there's a Pakistani flag and there's a Chinese flag too. According to think tanks, Western think tanks, according to data on global military spending, China is the country after US which spends more money on military military budget. Each single project, not only CPEC, is followed by military. And it is a debt trap for the countries. Practically now China owns Pakistan. And whatever they say, whatever they want to do, they have to dance at Beijing's tune. This happened in Sri Lanka. This happened in other countries. China invested in the past 5 years almost $600 billion within 64 countries for Belt and Road Initiative projects. All these projects have been followed not only by environmental problems, human rights violations, exploitations of workers, but also by a string and a trail of corruption. See, they sold a very nice brand, New Silk Roads. The New Silk Road brand has been sold and then advertised in each single country by locals, journalists, politicians, diplomats, scholars, all paid and given benefits by China. It is not my theory. There are investigations in Australia, in Nepal, in other countries by police. They have been condemned also. I don't want to think that my country did the same, but most likely did. Otherwise, I cannot find a single reason why we signed the Belt and Road Initiative. And whatever they say is a memorandum of understanding. It is a strong signal. Now, the point is, there are already military bases in Greece, Chinese. There's in Djibouti, there's a Chinese military base, and that is again all strategic place from where you can control the traffic. 2,000 ships every year goes through the Suez Canal, and Djibouti controls that place. We will have these people into the Mediterranean. And whatever they say that is not a military expansionist project, but a commercial one, well, this is how East India Company started. We should remember it. Done.
I will give you time. At the end, please note it down. I will give her. Thank you, Francisca. And this is what, we have seen that even Italia signed that memorandum even without consulting the European Union as well. So I'm thankful to you for your great presentation. I give the floor to respected Waja Ali Arjumandi. So please come put it on that because we have to finish. There will be some time for the question and answer. So
I thank Mr. Munir Mengal, the panel, colleagues, and you all who participated here, took interest to listen to us. We spoke of on air that CPEC, it's bad, but it has physical effects, which is me directly in front of you. It is physical. These gentlemen, this lady, that gentleman over there, they have been kept in prison and tortured because they objected the policies of Pakistan and China. At that time it was Pakistan, but now China has come. China is a new rich. We have an odd word in Baluchi, always fear the new rich. Until 2000, China was, people were needed. People needed the ICRC food help. It is 20 years ago, not far away. Now they have accumulated so much wealth, they don't know what to do. As mentioned there, they have in their back head a racistic thinking. Han Chinese should control the world. It is a danger not only to us, it is a danger to the whole world. Pakistan already planned the genocide after Baloch. China has come to help. Baloch will be eliminated. The Pashtun will be neutralized. The Kashmiri will be occupied. The occupation will be legalized. And all nations will be affected. When nations are affected, the environment will be affected. What happens? The environment was affected, other nations will be affected. What happens? It is the humanity affects the whole humanity. We have one globe, we have one people, one of us. It is like a chain. If you break one chain, the whole chain breaks up. So please, as example, why I said that I am physical example. I'm not a Pakistani. I'm Iranian Baloch from Iranian side. My brother went there to visit Pakistan in 2009. Just because of nowhere they took him. He is missing until now. We don't know where he is. He is not a Pakistani. Nothing to do with Pakistan. Then you can imagine what they are doing with the help of Chinese to other local people. And there are reports of tens of thousands Baloch sitting in missing. They are missing. We don't know. They are getting tortured, killed bodies in deserted areas of Balochistan. There were mass graves in Gwadar, which the army come and also blockaded. Nobody can access it. So please, it is not a problem of just the Baloch, it is a problem of humanity. Come and stop the Chinese, stop the artificial country of Pakistan. Pakistan's day are off because it was created in order to be a buffer zone for the Soviet Union, the ideology of Soviet. Soviet has gone and their colonial army is there. The same British colonial policy are running over there. Humanity, human, Inuit, they have no race whatsoever. So please, come on and raise your voices for your own benefit. If one of the nations are eliminated, the next is your turn. The next your turn. Do not keep silent. If you keep silent, the next turn is yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you, respected Waja Ali Arjumandi. Actually, his young brother, he's still, under the custody of Pakistani forces. He's a victim of enforced disappearances. So the motivation and with which he was speaking, behind that there is a pain, there is a suffering, and that suffering that touches the heart of everybody who feels that he is a human being. And unfortunately, that pain does not touch the hearts of the Pakistani forces. I'm thankful to you for your great presentation. Now, if anybody has any questions, so please raise your hand one by one, and take it small, and do not, do not make it long. So please give the mic. One by one. So.
Yes, thank you for allowing me to ask a question and to make some remarks. First, I want to complete what Francesca said, because I saw a documentary very precise about the Silk Road. Djibouti was a French colony. Now it is finished. French army is not there, but Chinese is there. Chinese people are there, and they replaced the French workers, employees, by the Chinese employee. It is done. After the road goes to Europe. It arrives in Le Pirée in Greece. But there, the Greek employees insisted to be employed. So there are Greek workers, engineers, and so on. Then you will see it is a project that is going on in Gens, in Italy. You asked me about COVID-19. Maybe this crisis started because some people met voilà, that's it. And after, Marseille is ready to have a share in the port of Marseille. So what you said, Ali, is true. Europe is concerned. But alors, knowing the cruelty, sorry to make a link, knowing the cruelty, if I can remember last time you said that, is that you or a military Japanese man who said, I can remember, Pakistan made the biggest mistake to host the Chinese businessmen and so on project, because Chinese are very cruel. They take organs from bodies. They trap Uyghurs. Of course, they are Muslim, but they trap them in awful condition. You didn't say that they oblige them to eat pork. Eh bien, moi, I am with a Muslim. I don't oblige him to eat pork. It is impossible. And they make them drink alcohol and not respect, despise their belief. Okay, voilà, c'est tout. What will happen? This is my question. Have you got an idea? What will happen if Chinese come on your ground, try to marry, for example, Pakistanis, Baloch, I don't know, but the Pakistanis, what will happen? Alors, I would like some.
Thank you, Respect Colette, for your question. So please,
I would like some information.
No, at the end he will speak. So please,
Yes, we have almost.
So there's another question.
Dozen.
We will take three questions,
yes,
and then respond. It's better. Sir, please. So please introduce yourself, and then
Thank you so much for allowing me to be here and for the invitation. My name is Ali Kassar. I'm currently writing a book on corruption and terrorism and ethnic cleansing. I'm Australian, and basically this subject is not new to us. China and invasion of the world and expanding military, it's not something new. We're all sitting down and watching it. But my concern is now we have a Chinese presence on the border of Kashmir, and your presence on the borders here. China has a very good history in Australia, bribing MPs and trying to buy its way in to buy land. And Australia has been suffering for a number of years now, for the last 6 years, from Chinese politicians trying to buy out Australian politicians. And we have currently 3 corruption cases going in Australia against politicians. But the nature in that regard is what I'm seeing here with the CPAC. My question is, are we seeing a military invasion in a business form? invading the world, and are we watching out here? There may be a ethnic cleansing of this region. Now, what I'm asking is, are we concentrating on the picture? Because the picture I'm looking at from what we've sat down and listened to tonight in my research is like what happened in Bosnia, it might happen in it there. And if we don't act now, when are we going to act? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Munir Mengal. My name is Nasser Aziz. I am from Pakistani occupied Kashmir. According to Pakistani constitution, Gilgit-Baltistan and Pakistani occupied Kashmir are not part of Pakistan. And legally, Pakistan has no local stand-by to build any mega project in these areas. But Pakistan and China, they are involved in the plundering of natural resources of our region. This is against the international laws and United Nations resolutions on Jammu and Kashmir. And Pakistan says these areas are disputed, but still she is involved in the building of mega projects like CPEC and other dams, mega dams they are building in Pakistani occupied Kashmir, in Muzaffarabad and other areas. Through this gas gathering, I request that international community should intervene and ask Pakistan to stop building such big projects in a disputed territory. I thank you. This is comment, yeah. Yeah, this is comment.
Actually, the questions related from Colette and from Ali Kasai.
Now everybody is very much bored and tired. Please.
Yeah. So these relate to the demographic, particularly changes. This is what the people in Balochistan, they are highly concerned. Now, as per the plans, they are going to build 500,000 houses for Chinese workers in Gwadar. The local population of Gwadar is close to 35 to 40,000 people. Okay, now if 500,000 Chinese workers are coming over there, so where the local people will go? It means that there is a complete, already a strategic policy is going like that, cleans. So cleaning is going on, and on the other side, they are bringing Chinese. So we face elimination of demographic because of this demographic changes. So yeah, so on the other side, the issues like we hear from the news in the media, there are cases of individuals, groups, and now they have some sort of that there are groups, they are trafficking the females on the name of marriages and taking. That's the inhumane issue, that's against human rights issues. Okay, we condemn all such sort of acts which are being done against any group, any community, or any people. So
actually many girls were married, and marriage houses have arranged this thing. They write on their board that Chinese bride grooms are available. So such things, so many married girls, Pakistani girls, found in the brothel of China. And from there, and so many are also.
Final comment.
So this is not the authorities are just doing nothing.
Thank you, sir. I am highly thankful to all of you, and I request Naela if she wants to give a final comment of 1 minute or 2 minutes. Okay, so please.
Thank you so much, everybody. We are missing some of our friends here, and this press conference is a total success according to all the indicators we know. And congratulations, Waja Munir Jan Mengal and Baloch Voice Association, and thanks to the Press Club of Geneva. Today's speakers' comments and their voices and the respected comments of Ali and our friends Colette in So it is very obvious that the CPAC basically is very scary, very mysterious, and according to the, like Ma'am Francesca said, like she was talking about the other parts like Djibouti and like Sri Lanka. So what's going on in, like as a result of the Chinese investments in other areas, it shows that the Pakistani corrupt generals and their policymakers or their establishment has already signed everything and given to them, because nothing, they don't own anything. It's very easy for them to sign, to give everything to China or to anybody, and leave Pakistan with millions of dollars of kickbacks. But it is our land, it's our people. We cannot give anything to anybody. So from the day first, Baloch has always declared it on all the international forums that we are not responsible for anything Pakistan promises to anybody. And same is, you can see CPAC starts from Kashmir, Gilgit-Baltistan, or starts from Gwadar, but from Gwadar till Kashmir, you have heard that nobody wants CPAC. It's not for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
My English is not so good, so I would like to speak in French. My name is Peter Karemera. I am from Rwanda, and I am coming here to say what happened in my country in '94, and nobody was understanding, nobody had give us the parole to say what was happening in our country. And even the Secretary General of Kofi Annan did not want to say something. So now, what I am with you because I feel that you are facing something approaching to the genocide, and you have to fight, and I am with you. Thank you very much.
Words for solidarity, and we know you are a very senior human rights and political activist, and your family and even your brother is in prison from many years standing against dictatorship, and till date he is under prison back at home by the hands of the dictators. Thank you. And Claudia, yes please.
Yeah, my name is Claudia Wedlich. I'm a think tank from the NGO Balochistan Project. And I want to mention that China already has bought up the ports in Europe, and they can change them within some months into military bases, because this economic corridor of CPEC, the flagship of the new Silk Roads, is more a strategical way to gain the control over the world. And the fault Europe was making also my government. I gave advisory after to the Munich Security Conference that they did not negotiate hard enough with China. So if you want to change the situation there, you know, in many speeches, I mentioned the legal aspects of CPEC, that this is against international law, that Pakistan only, Islamabad, made the contract with China, and even senior Chinese think tank said this contract is null and void and cannot have constance. So if you, the Baloch, want to be helped, then Europe must negotiate new the contracts, also to include Baloch and other ethnic interests like Pashtuns and especially also Kashmiri, and concerning Gilgit-Baltistan, which is not a province of Pakistan, but they try to make it to their province, so they have no seats in the assembly there. So all must come together to negotiate and to press China to give them rights and to give them jobs. That China must invest also in Balochistan to make it to a Pacific country. If you want to install economy forever, then every country must be pacified. There should be no battles or something like that. There should be no terrorism. And it is not for the benefit for China as well if this country, Pakistan, is full of terrorism. This I wanted only to say. Thank you.
For your presence. I know there are other speakers. Actually, we asked 4 hours time. We earlier planned to make it a half-day plan, but there was no time, and the press club gave us only the time till to 6:30, and it was 2 hours. So I'm thankful to you, and I know there are some speakers. I could not give them time, and we will, dispatch their speeches on our website. So if anybody, particularly I request from the journalists who might be hearing us right now through online, or might, they listen the details of this conference. So please try to give time, try to hear these issues, try to investigate these issues, and try to report, and as much possible try to dig out the reality. What is the reality behind these projects are, why the people are crying, and what the states are claiming. I'm thankful to you all for your great presence. Thank you. Thanks. The conference is adjourned. Thank you, Munir. Thank you, sir. If you want to make a group